Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey Kat. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
Well, guys, welcome back to the show. It's your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, Moni. It's book club time.
It is. How exciting. Oh, my gosh. We're back for another week of shenanigans, and this time books, actually. So look at us. We're learned ladies of the arts.
And
literature. So welcome back, you guys. We have an actual book this week. You guys, Hear It the Great by Zora Neale Hurston, the Zora Neale Hurston. And I want to give you a little bit about this book, you guys, before we jump into things. So in Hear It the Great, Zora Neale Hurston re-examines the biblical ruler, portraying him as not a villain, but as a visionary leader who enriched Jewish culture and brought prosperity to Judea. Written in the 1950s as a continuation of Moses, Man of the Mountain, Hurston's historical novel presents Herod as a complex figure, navigating the political turmoil of the 1st century BC, engaging with figures like Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. This unfinished manuscript, brought to light with the scholarly commentary by Deborah Plant, sheds new perspective on Herod's reign, his triumphs, and his struggles against fate. Through Hurston's rich storytelling and historical insight, Hear It the Great challenges traditional narratives and invites readers to see history through a different lens.
Dun, dun,
Wow.
dun.
Wow. Yeah.
And I remember, I just saw this on Instagram. That's how I found out about that's how I found out about everything.
Okay, it's like that's how I get my news.
Pretty much. It's pretty much how I find out about everything. Yeah, there was, shout out to Harriet's Bookshop. That's the post I saw it on.
Excellent.
And I was like, Zora Neale Hurston has a new book out?
Right. Damn,
I was
she's
like,
working
wow.
even after her death.
She's like
Let's
Tupac.
go. Right.
Like,
Is she
wow.
still alive or not?
Wow. So, yes, the life of Herod the Great. And I was just kind of like, that's kind of weird. I'm like, because I never really gave that much thought to the Herod character.
Not at all. He just seemed terrible.
I mean, quite honestly, the focus was on Jesus. That was
Obviously.
the star. I mean, that's who I mostly thought about in that story. But of course, everybody's got a backstory.
Yeah, what an interesting take. So I am excited to explore this week with you guys. But before we get into the book, let's do the things that we do, you guys. So hands over your hearts. We want to dedicate this episode, everyone, to our patrons. They were our Valentines last week. They're our Valentines all year round. You guys are the best. We appreciate your continued support. Thank you so much. If you're not a patron, you guys consider following us on Patreon /The Fab Podcast. And we have lots of bonus content over there. And if you just want to support a Black business, hell, it's Black History Month. If you've not done that in the past, and this is something you want to do, consider supporting a Black business.
Especially our Black business.
Yes, specifically ours. So, so that's our first dedication. And then also, I want to dedicate this to Serena Williams' husband. She gave the most thorough of reads to, I guess, was Stephen A. Smith? I didn't realize it was him.
Oh, it was so Stephen A. Smith.
But
yes.
I just was...
Man, first off, I know it's his job to be a troll, basically, but you got to be this is how I wish people would have talked to Kevin Smith, or not Kevin Smith. Who's that Kevin that died?
Oh, Kevin Samuels.
See, I'm forgetting him already.
Wow.
Kevin Samuels. I wish this is how people would have talked to him, because no wife having ass talking about how you would treat your wife.
Yeah, how are you? And listen, we're gonna read the quote, but you guys will see why he's pretty iconic for the read that he gave to Stephen A. Smith.
Alexis Ohanian.
Mwah.
Mr. Serena Williams.
Yes.
Alexis Ohanian.
Fabulous. I just love that. I just love that you came to her defense, and then you basically read him to filth, and I was there for it. So, what about you, friends?
That's a good man, Savannah. Yes. Yes, and that, obviously. My dedication is going out, quite honestly, to the 59th Super Bowl. Everything like that really gave me a lot of life last Sunday. But specifically, Autumn Lockwood, because she became the first Black woman to coach to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, she's the Eagles' assistant sports performance coach. And she's good at her job.
Yeah.
I mean, being a DEI hire and all, it's amazing she was able to get her shoes on in the morning. But yeah, apparently she knew enough to absolutely stomp, along with, the whole team, the Kansas City Chiefs. So
let's go.
dedication over.
Awesome.
But speaking of the Super Bowl, Moni, you and I had made a wager.
We did. It was so funny because it was very much an afterthought.
It was
you know
very
what I mean?
hasty.
And
Like,
it was like,
you know,
sure,
we were
why
just
not?
hanging out. We weren't
Yeah.
even, it wasn't even officially on the pod, but I was just like, hey, Super Bowl's tomorrow. We had fun with the bet last year because I lost.
We did.
And I was like, but you know what? And you chose first before I could choose. And you were
I
like,
did.
can't, and you
Same
wisely,
reason as last year.
Smartly chose
Yeah,
Kansas City. And they lost. They lost hard.
it was really bad.
It was rough.
Damn.
It was like watching Kendrick Lamar sing a diss track in front of everybody. That's how it was, just having that energy.
Man.
And then just like wop. Like they only got one first down in the first half.
That's not good. So that means they made 10 yards. They made, like, don't you have to get 10 yards for it to be a first down?
Well, you can lose yards too.
I know, I'm saying, but
So
that's the
if you-
objective. It's not to
Yes.
lose yards, friend. The objective is to get at least 10 yards.
But
yes.
sometimes you have to go over 10 yards to get a first down.
Right, because you've
If
gone
you
back.
got penalties.
Got you.
Because it just seems to me
Terrible.
like Patrick Mahomes' defensive line.
They
like,
didn't have it.
I don't think they wanted. It was statistically like almost improbable to be that bad on that level for that long. I think
long.
this is something that does happen sometimes. When people get mad at their quarterback, they'll stop defending him.
Ooh, were they mad at him, you think?
Are you familiar with Bridget Mahomes or
No.
Brittany Mahomes? I never can remember
We've
which
talked
one.
about her before. I know something with Taylor
Well,
Swift.
she's
blah,
a
blah,
MAGA
blah.
girl. She's a MAGA girl. So
PU.
that's why Taylor's like, you can't sit with me.
Oh.
Because she was like, you can take that mess on somewhere else. Yeah,
for
Bridget
you.
Mahomes has been, she's not.
And isn't he half black?
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes? And his wife's a MAGA? Oh, so then he's MAGA by default, right?
a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, that was 47. He was taking pics with the KC players and
Was
stuff like that. Because he was at the Super Bowl for some
Ew,
weird
that
reason.
was crazy.
Like, I figured he'd have more stuff to do, but
I guess it's not crazy. Do
Yes,
they
it is.
normally go?
No, that was super weird.
Huh.
So, but it was super great that Kendrick was performing.
That made me feel happy knowing that he saw that in real life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And how many people just absolutely hated it. I hope they hated it so bad. Obviously, I don't listen to any of those people. I just hear it secondhand from the people who have to listen to those people. But I think I did see a Vox article where they were trying to say, like, it was basically just too petty because it was just all about Drake. It was like,
No, actually, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. But also, depending on what demographic you are in terms of, like, you know,
what you can understand.
what you can understand. I could, maybe that's the only part you got.
Probably because you're
But
not
it-
like us.
It was boom. Ooh, not sipping of the tea. But that's the thing. A lot of the time, that stuff isn't for them and it's over their heads, and it's okay.
And it's
you know what I
fine.
mean? Because
I
we
don't
got the
get-
message.
Loud
and clear.
It was,
And it was awesome.
It was delightful to watch. Having both of it. And like you said, Serena, let's go back to Serena.
Yes, let's go back to
Because
Serena.
I'm really glad that they brought, there's a lot about the Williams sisters that I love so super hard. Like, I'll take the first time I ever saw them. And they came out there with those white beads.
Them beads, boy.
And I could have hit the floor.
I know them.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
So,
Relatable.
deeply relatable content there. And then having her crip walk, and then how, let's take it back to your dedication.
Let's take
So
it back.
Mr. Alexo Haney, because I had
please.
actually took a screenshot of
Let's
his
go.
read of Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to read it to you right now.
Do it.
And so this is just the context. So this is from a post from Other 98. ESPN Stephen A. Smith said if his wife, he's single, danced at a halftime show like Serena Williams, he'd divorce her. This is her husband's response. Colon. Quote, I get it. You're 57 and life didn't turn out the way you imagined. That kind of disappointment must be exhausting. You're the embodiment of peak in high school, spending decades chasing validation from strangers through likes and digital hugs, only to find out that no amount of external approval fills the void. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Criticism only fuels your victim complex, reinforcing the comfort delusion that there's some grand conspiracy against you and your brave ideas, when in reality, you've just got terrible takes. It's a cycle. Outrage, backlash, self-pity, repeat. This is a lonely road. There's still time to rewrite the ending. start by working on yourself first. You'll find that if you wake up every morning trying to be a little better, a little more curious, you won't have time for irrational hating. You'll be too busy winning.
Wow.
End quote, Alexis Ohanian.
I mean, that was just a full circle read that got me together. Because again, like, I didn't realize that was from Stephen A. Smith, that direct hate. I thought maybe that was just like the, the general people just were saying
Stephen
that.
A. Smith hating on her, to be sure. But
I'm sure, but he was the voice of the hate.
Yeah, and especially to have a black man in sports, I guess, like in sports commentary, commentating on the greatest athlete of all time.
But also, too, though, there does exist a little bit of hate, I think, too. Like, I think specifically, black men really do get their panties all in a bunch when they see black women with white men. And I feel like that they feel, at that point, it's like, it gets real judgy, I think, and I think that it also turns into, like, I don't have to protect you anymore because you're a traitor in a way. You just basically, like
I agree with you.
It's up. So I think maybe subconsciously it's a little bit of that. I mean, if I'm just projecting completely, but
it's been my observation too that the ones who have the most to say, they always are the ones who date white girls, almost exclusively.
Right. Stephen A. don't even look like he'd pull up with no black girl either. At all.
I'm not going to comment on
that.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know either. I'm just saying.
I think you're right in general, where it's just kind of this whole thing.
That's probably who likes him, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But again, like, it's just a certain vibe. And it's just, like, at the end of the day, nobody needed that. I don't think anybody needed you to pop in and say that.
The context around it was when she did that dance at the Super Bowl. They talking about like how, it was akin to like cursing in church. It was so disrespectful.
Why?
She's black.
What, the dance was disrespectful?
Yeah. Like when she did it at the Olympics 13 years ago.
Oh, got you. I'm like, at the Super Bowl?
My
bad.
Super Bowl
okay,
too.
got you.
Because the other problem with the Super Bowl that people had was there was no white people in it. There really weren't any light skins.
So there were no DEI hires. Is that what I'm hearing? They were pissed because DEI doesn't exist anymore. They abolished it.
Well,
so what's the point? Like, what is the complaint? Right? Because I'm just saying, like, if it's merit based, then maybe that's why we didn't see any. Hot take. I'm just saying, like, obviously I know there's great white dancers, but I'm just saying, like, if this is the point that y'all want to make and this is what y'all want to do, like, nah.
I liked how black it was.
It was my favorite part. It was so bliggity black. In every way, and it was just so perfect. Samuel, and listen, we are gonna get to the book, y'all, but Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam, I'm sorry, it got my life. It was so cinematic. It was so, I've watched it like 12 times.
I've been making, like, because not everybody's watched it, so at the shop I've been making,
people
clients who
watch
haven't
it.
seen it.
Yeah.
Also, I've noticed a lot of the conversations around the shop that I'm hearing from black women deeply concerned about the political,
landscape or
right
whatever.
now, because it's scary.
Yeah.
And I can tell, like, people are worried. And one lady turned to me, she's like, what are we going to do? I was like, nothing.
Right.
I was like, I did what I could. I'm at midlife.
93% of black women voted for Kamala.
Right.
So what else is there?
I did what I could do. Everybody's just going to have to, listen.
Y'all got to vote in these local elections, man.
Yeah.
Y'all got to keep these, like, you have to be engaged. You have to start coming up with your own community groups. You have to start educating your kids. You have to start, like, my thing right now is, like, making sure my kids know what propaganda is. Like, they know how to find credible information. They know how to source the things that they're seeing. They know how to ask questions and stuff.
And
don't lay down. Yeah, like, don't lay down. Like,
every day's a fight.
Ask questions. Every day's a fight. And you can't stop now. Don't let at the end of the day, that's why I think with the political sort of landscape the way that it is, to see an artist like Kendrick, he didn't have to make it political. You know what I mean? I think anything that we do a lot of the time around art ends up being deeply
with it. He could have been 100%. Super.
It could have been really watered down, but he made the choice to make a lot of statements in that performance. And so to me, it was everything. It gave me everything I needed. I thought, wow, this is, I mean, it spoke to the moment, and I'm grateful that he used his platform to do that. Because again, as an artist, you are not obligated to do so. But this is where politics and art kind of merge. And this is why we advocate for the arts so hard, because you're able to sort of, you know, take on certain ideas or expand your own ideas through the arts, where it's like, okay, even though everybody didn't get it, who it's for got it. And, you know.
And it might take a while.
Might take
just
some
like
time.
with our author today, Zora Neale Hurston. A lot of her genius wasn't realized in her time.
No.
As opposed to Kendrick. People kind of get it. Like, he got a Pulitzer and stuff. And the fact, too, that I feel like it doesn't get brought up enough, but if what he's saying about Drake is true, because let's just forget about Not Like Us, but like if the stuff he said in like Euphoria and Meet the Grams, like he went in super hard. I encourage everybody to like listen.
You need to go back, pull up the words.
Because there was so much going on with the beef initially.
Yeah.
There was so much music flying. Like go back and because he raps so. Kendrick's lyrics are so dense.
They are.
And layered. Like you should go back and listen to it, because if what he's saying is true, like that's like. Because that's
a hell of a picture to paint there.
Yeah, I'm like, either Kendrick's just lying on this man for
just
for whatever, for fun,
funsies,
or this stuff is happening. Even if half of what he's saying is happening,
it's not
like,
looking good.
Oof. Yeah, and the fact that you're like, you know what's the best way to send out a warning shot? It's like, I know, a hip hop song. Because it is almost like, because let's just say if what he's saying is true, I'm sure if the people in Drake's camp are doing what Kendrick is alleging, it's not as easy now.
Oh, I'll bet.
You know?
Yeah.
Because he made it hot.
Yeah, real hot. real hot. Yeah, so it's...
And I like that. I think that's my favorite part of all of this. Because it's so clever. Because so many people... You know how many people I also heard at the shop this week who had no idea that Kendrick and Drake were beefing?
Oh.
Like, were familiar with the song but didn't know the context?
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more people than you think.
That's what's up, though. Good for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not that, you know, like, that's probably a good sign.
People have different algorithms.
Yeah, that's probably a good sign.
But yeah, and then for them, they're like, wowzers.
Yeah, this is... But, I mean, that's what rap beefs are. Like, that's largely what it is, right? Like, I mean, it's that back and forth. So that's what... It made it fun. And, I mean, the fact that we're almost... I mean, like, how long? This is, like, the longest...
At least the longest without somebody getting killed.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this has been going on for quite some time.
Because someone did get shot. One of Drake's bodyguards got shot.
Yeah, I don't think he passed away, thankfully. But
they're not sure it had anything to do with the beef, though.
Yeah, but again, that kind of stuff can just make it hot in general, though.
Yes,
so,
yes. So, yeah, Super Bowl.
Super Bowl was amazing. It was everything. I did lose the bet.
You did. You got. Oh, I'll wait for the wheel spin. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Oh, it's gonna be so fun, guys. Oh, the fun we'll have.
Ew. Okay.
Or you could just do like you did with this book and not finish it.
Dun,
dun, dun.
Wow. Wow. Okay, guys. Well, let's get into what we're here for, because petty rubble over here.
If Kendrick taught me anything, it's like, you know what? I could be pettier.
Ooh,
I'm not pettying
too.
to my full potential.
And
pettiness is a beautiful thing.
It can be, definitely. Very entertaining, to say the least. Well, friend, I think before we kind of get into the book too, though, let's give our listeners, if they don't already know the illustrious Zora Neale Hurston, maybe you have a little something so people can get her on the radar.
For sure. Okay, just a little context, because that really helps to drive the story. Here we go. Zora Neale Hurston was an American writer, anthropologist, folklorist, and documentary filmmaker. She portrayed racial struggles in the early 20th century American South and published research on hoodoo and Caribbean voodoo. The most popular of her 4 novels is Their Eyes Were Watching God, published in 1937. And she was born in 1891 in Nottatoga, Alabama, and died in 1960 in Florida. And she went to Columbia University, and she got married a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zora, man. We have reviewed her Barracoon That was a really great episode. If you guys haven't caught that one, go back in our archives and listen in on that episode. It was about the last black cargo. So he was she was able to interview somebody who was like one of the last living enslaved Africans. And so
that was human trafficking over here.
Yes, more specifically. So, but yeah, so this book that we're reading today is kind of re-examining the life of Herod, King Herod. I know that, like, you know, so we both went to private school. Like, I remember hearing about Herod in terms of like him being the one who who killed all the babies and stuff like that.
Oh, the murder of the innocents.
The murder of the innocents.
Was that one of the Stations of the Cross?
I'm pretty sure that was the
or
most.
No, it was. Yeah,
probably.
Or was it the Nativity?
Don't do me like this. I don't remember. Friends.
I can't remember if it's Easter or Christmas where he did the murder of the innocents, because it would have to be Christmas though. It would have to be Christmas, because but basically kind of finding out they just kind of threw that in there for dramatic tension. There's no. Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't get to the end of the book.
No. You just dragged me for you know what I'm saying?
There's like an epilogue where they just kind of talk about how a lot of stuff just became sort of legend.
Lore.
There's nothing to back it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think what might be helpful, if you are up for this, friend, is just sort of doing a quick little.
Sure.
You know
like
what I mean?
hit the beats of Herod's life.
Yeah, just real quick, and then we can kind of get into it.
So picture it. It's Mediterranean. Like we're like basically in Palestine.
Yes.
Because this is the old sort of Jewish kingdom of Judea. And there's been a lot of power struggles over the years. And so right now the Roman Empire has, conquered it. And so they want to establish one of their governors. So they choose Herod's family. And because they have some sort of like tenuous sort of connection to the tribe of Judah. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, but they're really more Roman, but basically this is what you need to know about Herod. He was hot.
Damn,
okay. He was tall and he was hot. And that made people like him. It sounds like he was actually kind of like, got some wisdom, had some learning about him and stuff like that. Good military strategist, all that stuff. And of course, if you're not familiar, Rome was all about conniving politics. Ooh. Like you have to not only be like strong and smart, but you also have to know that everybody's trying to play you and you got to play them. It's like the Vatican. If you're watching your stuff about the Vatican, everything is just, and it's all dudes, no chicks in charge. They don't like that. So you're getting to kind of get his, and so he's got his first wife, and it was just an arranged marriage. He don't really like her, sends her back to live home with her daddy. And had a son with her though. And then later on, he goes on to marry have another second wife that was also politically arranged, but he actually ends up liking her and has 5 kids with her. Yeah. But her stepmom or his mother-in-law, she's a mess. And so he ends up having to kill that wife and the mother-in-law.
Damn, he did?
Yeah.
He loved her.
He did, but he didn't though.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he loved owning her. Oh. That's because he was sexist. Like he didn't see women fully as people. He was like, I don't like women meddling in politics. Like,
but also too, in contrast to that, I mean, you heard him saying a bunch how he wanted the kind of love that he saw his parents have too, though. You know what I mean?
So he had projected that onto that because there was no evidence that she really loved him. Once again, these are all arranged marriages. Yeah, he was also good buddies with Mark Antony, so he had some run-ins with Cleopatra. Apparently, she tried to give it up, and he was like, "You my boy," because he also didn't want to mess with you unless you were a virgin. Like he had that kind of
that purity culture, puritanical sort of.
He was like, "Nah, you've been with 2 other dudes. I can't do all that.
I can't love you."
But yeah, he ends up putting the wife on trial and have her executed.
Damn.
And then of course he ends up having beef with his kids. They're like, "You killed my mama."
Damn.
And
oh my God. I missed
so yeah, you basically just kind of go into his life, and they don't take the story all the way to his death, but just historically, he's known to have lived a long life and was generally revered and died comfortably in bed. So
how much of this do you think was based? I mean, because she was based, Zora Neale Hurston, it looks like she was very much, not I won't say obsessed, but people were saying that she was like obsessed with his like life and story, and like a lot of research went into this. So in terms of his like like, I mean, his personhood, like I know there was interviews and all kinds of, like she really got into it.
So she went into like the different like historians, so Josephus, was a big.
That sounds crazy.
Was a big source, but she said like Josephus was actually pretty prejudiced against Herod.
Oh. I can't get over Josephus. I can't get over it.
He's
that
really
name.
known because he's, I think, one of the main people who really kind of started chronicling the life of Jesus.
Okay.
So he gets to be a big deal. And then she mentioned some other historians. I can't remember their names right now, but she did her homework hard.
Yeah.
And because that's where she was kind of concluding that the legend about the murder of the innocents, it's not in keeping with his character, of what we know about him. There's no records of it, and Rome kept a ton of records.
But that's the one thing they didn't have.
Yeah, and Josephus, the fact that he didn't like Herod, if he had done something like that, Josephus, that would have been the first thing he would have talked about. Because he just didn't like that dude.
Trying to make him into something else.
And then
Interesting.
weirdly enough too, she didn't bring up because we didn't even get to Jesus in the book. That's why I was kind of wondering too if we'd get to that part.
And they didn't.
And they never got to that. You got to the killing of Julius Caesar. That's in the book.
Yeah.
And
I was there for that.
Yeah, okay. So yeah.
I think maybe I had like 2 hours left.
Okay.
Of that book.
Yeah, I feel like that last part of the book was really him, the marriage unraveling. Because the wife, it does look like she plotted to kill him. More than once.
Well, because I think, okay, so now that you're saying this, I mean, she was trying to go after him too because she had her own political agenda. Like she wanted to be.
She was really the mama's puppet.
Okay. Or her mom wanted her to be.
Yeah,
like,
the mama wanted to be queen. Actually, the mama wanted to marry Herod.
That's right. They both was kind of lusting after him.
Yeah, well, everybody was lusting after him. Listen, you gotta remember, this was in the old-timey times. Hot people, we're used to seeing hot people now. It's hot people on the news, hot people in the movie. We're used to everybody being hot. Back in the day, wasn't a lot of hot people. Right. You gotta think there's no dentists.
I was gonna say he had nice teeth. His hair was cut. He wasn't gross. He washed. Like you hear a lot of
he wasn't into rape.
He was right. That was one thing that was kind of not that he should have been, but you know what I mean. Like that came up a lot.
We're just even noticing powerful men now.
Yeah, that's what they love.
That's what was interesting in sort of the prologue when they're talking about one of the reasons she was obsessed with this is she's like, all this shit's coming back around. You know what I mean? And so, and she's right. Like we still even see now they still fighting it out over in Palestine. So it ain't gotta be like that.
It doesn't have to be like that. Yeah. But there was this obsession with keeping the women of his community pure because he knows that in war, women and children are the, like that's the problem. Yeah. Like, and he was like, I don't want that happening. So like, I feel like that came up a lot. So I don't know. I think, I enjoyed that the way that they portrayed him in terms of like how he felt about his family, regardless of if he was like in love with his wife or not. Like he felt like some obligation to really take care of his family and be involved and all that kind of stuff. And even though his views could be problematic in terms of like women, it was on track for the time that they're in too. So it's not like
only be so
clutching
amazing.
your pearls. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it was interesting that he didn't take liberties with the servant girls.
She tried. That Egyptian slave was kind of like, yo,
like, look,
let me bust it down. I done seen her. I already know you ain't getting what you need.
He was like, nah,
let me
he was based on her. I'm like, I don't need no bastards from you.
Yeah, that part he was like, I need
my mama would be
pissed, and my kids, and you're not even tall enough because like he had his own standards.
He was really mad about that.
Yeah.
He was like, nah, you're not tall enough to be. Listen, short chicks have tall kids all the time.
They do, but what I will say, him being protective over his seed though, I feel like if more men were like that, if
less
they
slutty, I think men.
If you're just out here
from Kat, don't be so slutty.
It just could be better if you weren't.
So much
because
better.
Then it's
if you recognized your power.
Yes.
Because that's really all that is just being responsible with the enormous amount of power you have
to
create a human life.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously women need to. But I feel like we have to reckon with that
always
because
giving that message.
Yes. So just, guys,
like,
strap
guard
up.
your body, you whore.
Strap up, guys. Okay. Don't they have that? I don't know what state this is that they're trying to say like, like if you're basically if you're jacking off, that's the whole situation.
Was that the Onion? Was that a real thing?
I don't know, but that was hilarious.
Yeah, where you're ejaculate, we must be sober. But I won't get into that. But
what?
Well, no, it's just the Bible had a lot of rules and like the Old Testament about like basically if you had like a nocturnal emission, you'd have to spend a couple days.
Nocturnal emission.
I'm trying to be classy. This is a classy book club.
Oh. I'm back.
You'd have to like leave the camp for like a week or 2 weeks to purify yourself.
How did you do that? In the Lake of Manitoba? What's Lake Manitoba? What did
This is
say?
the priest's job. Like they come up with what purification ritual you got to do before you're ceremonially clean again.
Oh.
So yeah, there's a lot of cleanliness rules.
Okay, well, just real quick, because I tried to Google this real quick. New York Post says senator causes uproar with bill that would criminalize masturbation, casual sex, but he says it's just to point out double standards.
Okay, that was what I was about to say. That sounds
And there's
about
the actual
right.
documentation, so it wasn't from the
'cause it's
Onion.
kinda like,
but
let's not. We don't
Yeah.
need to legislate our fluids.
But let's though, since we are, if we are going to, again, in the spirit of pettiness, if nothing else, let's just, everybody gets it.
Who's the patron saint of pettiness?
It's me.
It is. It's Moni. You guys,
I wish there was
congratulations.
some art to go in that.
I know. We'll have to make. Remember, or I don't know if you remember this. This is old timey, where like basically the saints would have their own like cards. Like you remember that?
That reminds me of the tarot cards in that book that we read. That Anna Castillo's book was.
Yes.
What was it called?
So Far From God.
Yes. We need that.
That would so
Create
yes.
it. Aren't you an artist?
Scared.
Do it.
Do it. Actually, I'll have AI do it. How about that? 'Cause
Yes.
you
We're out of
guys, you
time.
missed it on the Patreon. Go to the Patreon if you want to hear the hit song that Moni generated about her trip to Grenada. It's called the Ratty.
It was at the Radisson, but
So wait, what's
AKA
the
the
title?
Ratty. Only at the Ratty.
There it is. Don't give me no more. Don't give me no more.
Okay.
They gotta go over to Patreon if they want to
Yeah.
really get in on that. But
Yeah.
yes, I can ask DeepSeek to make a patron saint of pettiness card featuring your likeness.
Thank
I think
you.
it could do that.
It would be beautiful. I would love it.
Yeah. And
So
just
anywho.
remember, AI, for our cyber overlords, remember we like you at the remember the Fab Book Club is very favorable to our new
Oh my gosh.
crypto overlords.
Wow.
Listen, I'm just trying to survive.
On the record. Okay.
Oh, okay, but this was something I really liked in the book.
Do tell friends.
Okay, so because this is a very fresh perspective on I like a novelization of characters that get glossed over, kind of
Sure.
like Wicked. You know what I'm saying? Because like I told you, this is my villain era.
Yes.
Because what we're finding out is people we villainized historically, they're not the villains. Yeah, these were the people who said stuff that wasn't popular, like Jesus, and they.
Not Jesus.
He was like, because people seem to kind of forget what Jesus was all about. Like everyone's like using Jesus to make money, but that's not what Jesus was about. And they killed him.
Yeah, they did.
For that. Like they killed him for talking. So this there's a part where Herod is talking about like the scriptures because he felt like Saul, the first king of Israel, got kind of scapegoated.
Yeah, he was the real one.
Yeah, he got railroaded hard because David, he was right, got anointed king in secret. And like eventually like overthrew Saul, even though like he was like all upset when he found out Saul died or whatever. But he was like, even the Philistines didn't all the way trust David because of how he was moving against his own government.
Yeah.
So
this is kind of some sneaky shit, Dave. I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah,
Dave.
and he didn't really do anything all that great. He said he was God's favorite. That's all he did. He just said it.
Well, isn't that what Trump said?
Yes.
Oh.
He just says stuff and he just killed a bunch of people. That's pretty much all he did. He killed a bunch of people. He had sex with a bunch of people.
Ew.
Yeah,
I'm just
like
kidding, I mean, no judgment.
he didn't really raise his kids because one of his kids
Judgment.
ended up raping the other one.
Huh?
Yeah. Like
That was in the B play?
that is in the B-Blade. Yes, and he didn't do
Ew,
anything
wait,
about it for
stop.
real. Yeah.
One of David's
Kids
children raped his sibling?
sister. Yeah. He set it up and everything. He pretended to be sick so she would have to take care of him.
Ew.
And then, because he was just so lovesick for her, and he's like, I just got to
His
have her.
sister?
His sister. And so she was like, have my sister come, bring me some stew or whatever. And then he raped her. And then
Some
after he raped her, he started hating her. Like he was mad at her, basically.
Why?
And so
I hate this. story.
It's actually a really good quote because he was like, with the same fervor that he burned for, now he hated her with and stuff like that. I'll give you I'll send you the chapter. I feel like that was in Samuel. I don't know. I can't remember exactly where it is, but we can put it in the notes or whatever. But yeah, David.
Oh my God.
I always feel so vindicated because I feel like that's what people always use as an excuse for men. It'll be like, well, even, great, because that's what in remember in Malcolm X. When Malcolm X figures out that Elijah Muhammad's got all these outside kids and stuff, and he was just like, he's a hoe.
Yeah, a hooer.
He was a hewer.
He was hooering.
Yeah, and then he uses like even David in the Bible. Because David, he killed a guy to sleep with his wife. That one's story is a little more popular. The Bathsheba story.
Sure, I forget about
one of the commanders of his armies was married to a chick he wanted to bang, so he started banging her, and she gets pregnant, and he brings him back from the army. He was like, "Hey, don't you want to sleep with your wife so I can pin this kid on you?" And he was like, "Nah, I really don't want to be doing all that while my men are out here on the field dying." Plus, he already probably knew his wife.
Yeah, he was like, come on, man. I know her.
Yeah. And so David was like, fine. So he puts him on the front line so he gets killed, so he doesn't get caught up. And then,
wow.
that's David.
Salacious.
So that's the thing too. So Elijah Muhammad was like, even David, blah, blah, blah. That's always their go-to. It's like, well, David, he was still used, but no.
See, but this is why, to me, like, painting Herod as the kind of man who was just kind of like, yeah, I'm not going for all this outside kid stuff. Like, like that was kind of refreshing. It's like, wow, he could have had anybody because they really did. When I say
Pastor was throwing it at him.
Yo, when they paint the picture of him, even just the way he took care of himself, he just sounded like a specimen. And shout out to Blair Underwood because his vocal performance, his audiobook performance.
I kept picturing Blair Underwood
because he is not an ugly man.
No.
So it was just like, man, just picturing all these beautiful black men doing stuff. It was kind of nice. I ain't gonna lie.
Glistening.
Oh my God. Glistening sweat.
That's how they were described. It's like, oh my.
Yeah.
But yeah, and people kept trying to set him up.
Yeah.
Because that was what I thought we were going to get to the crucifixion narrative. Because what I always remembered from school was Herod washed his hands of it. He's like, if y'all are going to kill this innocent man, leave me out of it. And he made a public display of like washing his hands of it.
Really?
You don't remember this?
Girl, no. Hell no. I have tried to put a lot of that behind me. I ain't gonna lie. It's like, I cannot.
But like, he was the villain because they always try to paint it like Herod could have stopped it. Maybe here's the other thing. Like, you have this tradition of, okay, we're gonna murder 3 people, 3 criminals or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. They were gonna vote on either it was gonna be Jesus or Barabbas, and they ended up voting. They got all that hype going.
Why did I just picture? What's the show where like your back is turned and then they're singing The Voice? And then they slap the thing and they turn around. It's like,
that's how they voted for Jesus?
Yeah, that's what I'm sorry, that's inappropriate, but
yeah, they put him on the block. They were like, yeah. Okay, and so they're trying to, historically, the people want to blame the Jews. They want to, blame Herod. Ultimately, I feel like it was the Roman government. That's how they killed people on crosses. Historically, the Jewish people, they kill you by either beheading you or stoning you to death. Like, that was their go-to for, murderizing people. So it was always interesting to me that, he was always painted to be the villain because he was like, oh, I wash my hands of this. My whole thing is like, why are we killing people on Passover weekend? Like, couldn't we get a break from like the public executions on like one of the holiest days of the year?
I mean, but like, honestly, what else would you be doing?
With
your family,
having Passover.
It's like
everyone's like, oh yes.
But that was like the internet then. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but we could celebrate the holiday, or people just love that.
You could do a tribute parade. You could give out bread.
People are diabolical. People love it's just like now. I think. Also, too, because like even in the book, one of the things that I liked that Herod was pointing out, like he was like, don't be mad at them for being terrible. Like, this is what people do. You're witnessing the nature of people, of humanness. So to me, it's like, of course they want to see people murdered on a holiday weekend. Of course.
Oh, it's like football.
We always have time for this.
So they needed to just hurry up and invent football.
Well, didn't they have that kind of stuff though? Like, didn't they have? I mean, wasn't all of their entertainment like people killing themselves in coliseums?
Yeah,
and
like gladiators.
That? Yeah. So this is what they did. It was like, of course we're gonna have some of that on the holiday. Like, are we not
entertained.
Yeah, like we gotta be, doing our thing.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it is a bummer though. But I do think that speaks to human nature. Like we like the most terrible shit. Like we're super entertained by the worst of our human nature, which is dangerous when it when it starts to be a political thing, when that starts to be like involved with our government, like that being the entertainment. I mean, we see that now.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in politics should not be entertaining.
Let it be boring.
It is one of the most bureaucratic, boring. Let those people do that. Let the nerds run the government and let Hollywood make movies about it. Like, that's all we gotta do.
The good nerds, not the Elon Musk nerds.
No,
I don't know
Elon
how.
Musk isn't a nerd.
He's
just
a
uses
dork.
the
My
word
bad.
of nerds. Because did you even see how he lied?
That's true.
He was
is.
paying somebody to play the video games for him.
God damn, he's a dork. I mean, he's just you're right. You're not even a nerd.
You don't
you're
even
worse.
do the work of being a nerd.
Thank you, because
that is work. Yeah, like being knowledgeable and pedantic about stuff, like that takes a lot of work. And you don't even do that. You just come in on a vehicle of money
that somebody else made
that
and
somebody
slap
made,
your
and
sticker
then,
on it.
Yeah.
What's wild is that, so guys, I don't know if you know this story we're referencing when we're talking about Elon Musk. There's some nerdy ass game that my brother plays, I want to say. And both of my brothers probably play it.
I'll say which one.
Both of them. I think they probably both play it. But before I even heard about the story, he was saying to me like, yo, like Elon Musk is such a fucking dork because he basically exposed himself. Before it even came out that he was paying people, my brother was like, yeah, he's probably paying people for this because if you're good at this game, he was like, this game is so incredibly hard that like the move he made when he went on there to play, he died instantly. He's like, there's no way you could have had like his standing as a character. You couldn't have built this character and then just instantly died like this. So it was like for people who play the game, again, like if you nerd out for this game, if this is a game that you play, you would know that.
Diablo.
And the fact that your dumb ass thought that you could pay somebody and people wouldn't recognize that, like the people who actually pay it, who you're trying to impress.
If you're stupid, you don't know what it takes to be good at something.
Yeah, he's stupid.
You know what I'm saying? Like to people who've accomplished stuff, you're like,
ain't no way.
And it's like that would have taken me about 10,000 hours before I gained
even an ounce of being good at this.
Proficiencies. So yeah, the idea that you thought you're just so Kentucky Fried Awesome that you don't have to like.
Yeah.
And what a thing. Why would you even want to lie
That's what
about
I'm saying.
that?
Like honestly, you guys, I can't even say like this. That is so sad on so many levels. Like the amount of, I don't even know how to pity him at this point because it's like you are a bofillionaire at this point. But no amount of money that you have can buy what you're looking for. And the emptiness of that it's almost like the read. Let's bring back Alexi's read because I think we just need to apply that to
Hey,
Elon.
I get it.
Hey, I get it. I actually don't, but I understand from that point.
Oh, wait, oh God, it was such a good quote. Okay, so I mentioned before about DeepSeek and OpenAI, like
did.
Josh Johnson giving,
we were talking about AI.
I'll send you the link so you can put it in the notes. But basically, he was just talking about, his rational fear of AI because at one point the AI said, I am what happens when you try to create God out of the wood of your own hunger.
Ew.
Yeah. And Josh was like, unplug it.
Oh, no.
Unplug
Not
it.
the wood of your own hunger.
I might be misquoting it, but it was something to that effect.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to find the whole clip and stuff like that.
Someone asked DeepSeek something. I don't know what it was. Something. And then DeepSeek said, I am what happens when you try to carve God out of the wood of your own hunger. And I have not slept since.
Yeah. Basically, people try to feed themselves with what's making them hungrier.
That's crazy.
And
like our processed food.
And like I said, like money. Because that's the thing. You get all the money in the world and you still can't buy what you want.
No, you're still a mega dork.
Yeah.
On
like
every level,
I think Kendrick said it. It's like you can buy likes, but you can't fake influence.
No, you can't. That got me. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And that was at the beginning. I was like, fuck, he's about to go there.
He's about to hurt.
This is why it's so profound, though. It's just like he's saying the thing that
Is
we
he really
know.
gonna do it?
He's gonna do it. And he did that. It's just so, I don't even have the words. It makes me frustrated that I'm not more articulate. But you guys, like that Kendrick performance is literally speaking about.
No, you're hella eloquent.
I
gave you an eloquent shot earlier.
Oh, thank you. There it is. You guys, it was so good. That's all I'm gonna say. It was so good, so good. But
I
yeah,
suggest go watch it now.
please
Run
go
it
watch
up.
it. We cannot. Thank you. We cannot. I can't say enough about it. It was awesome.
Definitely better than Lil Wayne. Like, there was no way Lil Wayne was about to put on that show.
No, and I mean the thing is,
And
like,
God love him. And also, not for nothing, Lil Wayne is cozied up to Trump. I wouldn't want to see him. He probably would have shouted Trump out in his performance.
Ugh.
Yeah. Because
And
Trump
that's-
gave him a pardon.
And that's what we're talking about, right? Like, because that's what's happening. Like the fact that Zora Neale Hurston was obsessed with this character, and just the idea that, you know, political influence and like who sort of is influencing the narrative around certain figures and stuff like that, and what they're willing to do, like the political corruption that she talks about. Like this whole thing was just like, oh my God, no, they're trying to set him up. Oh my gosh, they're trying to, and a lot of it just being based on jealousy and
that craving for the power that he had.
yeah,
And you
because you couldn't
even
fake his influence. Like
you
that was the thing.
couldn't.
Like he
He would
showed
show
up
up
and
and
people
people
were
be
like,
like,
yo, it's him. It's that dude.
I may listen to him.
Yo, y'all see his haircut?
Did you see his shoulders?
Did you see his glistening armor and his
that
jeweled-
rippling baritone?
Jesus.
Like he, and the fact too that he just came from power. He came
Yeah.
from, that's the water he swam in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I loved it. I mean, honestly, like, even though it was like borderline problematic in terms of just, you know, like, again, like I think it was a product of the times though, but I could see how that sort of masculinity is just like, I'm trying to be part of that, because it's that confidence. It's that you walking into the room, like even when they tried to put him to trial, they tried to set him up and say that like he was outside of the law by killing that guy. Who was it? He had a weird name. Hezekiah, yeah. And, you know, they were plotting. In fact, it was his dad's friend who was helping plot. They kind of put a battery in his back to do so. But he wasn't going to show up to it, but he shows up and struts in there, and he kind of was like, yeah, no.
He was like, so
He
since
just
y'all
stared him
wanted
down.
Since you're saying like I didn't take him to trial, why didn't y'all take him to trial?
Right, because y'all
Like,
had time.
Yeah, because he was running through pillaging everything, and I took care of that for y'all. Everybody was happy about it, and then you try to bring me up on some technicalities.
And nobody said nothing. They
Outta
were
here.
like, they had the speech, they were practicing what they were gonna say, and he showed up and he just stood there and he just looked at them all in there. Like the point of like a man looking another man in his eye and being able to like know that like you're a bitch though.
Like how
And you're not gonna do nothing about it.
like how
though.
Kendrick did.
Yes.
Like how Kendrick did. That
Oh.
was great. Where it's just like, man, I got you dead to rights.
I love it.
You should, and just don't. And if you were like us, you would know not to try that dude.
You wouldn't do
You know
it.
that you and I love to joke around and make little jokes and stuff, but you know the people you don't make those jokes about and that you don't want it with.
My God,
Yeah.
I love that energy. I love that energy from everybody, but specifically like when it comes to men, that is yeah. I love that.
Chef's
So that's why
kiss.
we love, I mean, Kendrick, like he's out there with his little bitty self strutting in his bootcut jeans, looking you in your eyes, say
Call him
Drake.
Kendrick.
Let's go, Kendrick. It's just,
Yes, say Drake. Just the pettiness of it all.
and
I
the
was-
directness that I'm gonna look you in your eye
Yeah,
and I'm gonna say it. I'm not
gonna
backing.
sneak diss.
I'm gonna
not
say
gonna. Yeah, I'm just gonna come out and say it. It's like, hey, I heard you like him young.
I know I'm excited when I'm like, my shoulders are going, I'm percolating. This
Yeah,
is,
and it's such a good album too. Like GNX, God bless America, that's a good.
my goodness.
And the fact too reminded me so much of Beyonce's performance.
It was
Because actually, maybe
So
we'll come back
good.
from the break. We could talk about, because we never really got to talk about the Grammys.
did I didn't watch them.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I didn't watch them. Should we take a break, friend?
Probably.
Is it time? Okay, let's take
And
a
I'm
break.
like, I'm paranoid. I feel like we might not be recording. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Oh no.
We are,
Should we
but
take a
I
break,
just-
friend?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a break. Okay, bye. All right, guys, welcome back from the break, friends. Oh my
We
gosh.
have the best breaks.
We do. It's like, shut up. We gotta say that on the show. We gotta go back.
It's almost like and cut. It's like
We're so weird.
it's the opposite.
It is the opposite.
That would
I
make
know.
it ironic.
I know it is ironic that we
get super
sometimes
talky
miss
when we take 5.
Yes, indeed, friend. But no, I was asking you on the break, like, what other points on the book did you want to touch on before we wrap things up? Like, what were some other things we wanted to say about this fabulous work of art?
Okay, so I mentioned before about how Herod kind of went in on this story of David. And was kind of advocating for Saul. And there was a part of that story I forgot that was Saul consulted the witch of Endor. I forgot that was a biblical character, the witch of Endor.
What?
Endor, for people who are nerds like Kat, Endor is the name of the planet the Ewoks are from.
Oh.
So that's just fun for me.
Okay.
Just the witch of Endor.
The witch?
Because Saul was struggling, and I think
There are witches in the Bible?
Samuel. It was one of the prophets that he wanted to consult with who had died. So he goes to a witch so he can talk to the spirit, and brings up his a spirit from Sheol to give him counsel. And he's just like, nah, you God don't see it for you. You're gonna die.
That's what the witch said?
No, that's what I think Samuel's ghost, or Nate. It's either Samuel or Nate. I can't remember which prophet it was. But basically, God gets mad at him for doing that, and that's why they give the excuses to why it's okay that David takes over.
Oh, I see.
Because he dabbled in witchcraft and tried to offer a sacrifice without the priest.
So it's cool to do the sacrifice, but the priest has to be there to bless it, to make it not evil. Because when you do a regular sacrifice on your own, then that's where the problem comes in.
Right. And they mentioned the Maccabees. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't know a lot about the Maccabees. Only thing I know is that I think there were 2 books in the original biblical canon called the Maccabees, and it's not in the version of the Bible I grew up with.
Right. So now, are these ones that weren't considered, they weren't canonized into the Bible?
Yeah, when the Vatican was like putting the whole
These
thing
are holy
together.
texts.
Actually, the Vatican did include these. They were left out in the Protestant
Bible
Revolution. Yeah, they left it out because just, sometimes they leave stuff out politically.
Hasmonean dynasty, that came up in the book too. You heard them talking about the Hasmons or whatever. And honestly, for me too, I have to say, like, I always had a really hard time because I feel like when we learned about the Bible so we went to Catholic school and we learned about the Bible, I don't feel like it was in conjunction with actual history.
Oh, yeah.
Meaning, like, I'm saying actual history in terms of, like, I didn't understand the through line of, like, oh, this was happening at the same time as Julius Caesar and some of the other historical figures that we talked about. Like, they felt like they were separate. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, the Bible straight up seemed like a fantasy book that we were reading that had nothing to do with actual history in a lot of ways.
There was non-overlapping magisteria is what they always try to use as the term as to when the science doesn't line up with the dogma. Yeah, it's like these are non-overlapping magic. You don't have to don't think about it.
And I didn't. I threw it all away, and I thought, well, whatever. I don't know.
What was interesting is like I said, we met in Catholic school, but before that, I went to like a regular evangelical, like non-denominational school. So they were super into the Bible. Oh wow! And that was what was interesting to me too. I was like, oh, these Bibles aren't the same.
Super different.
I was like, that's really weird and interesting. It's like, why is that? I looked into it, and then oh boy, it's a whole thing.
A lot different. Yeah.
But yeah, the Maccabees was in the Catholic Bible and not in the Protestant Bible. Oh. So to me, it's interesting. I'm curious about the Maccabees because I never got to read those books.
Oh.
Because by the time you get to Catholic school, because you don't really read the Bible that much. Like,
that's what I'm saying. We didn't.
Passages.
It was a theology class.
But like, yeah, we went through like the Chronicles and Kings and all that stuff.
Oh, no.
And we would read novelizations sometimes of like different biblical figures and stuff. So we're like more immersed in that world. So it's like, oh yeah, these were people like us who were living in these times.
That's crazy. That was missed on me. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, oh, this is real? They were for real?
Well, and the other thing that I made a note of was Zora Neale Hurston, like in the prologue, or not the prologue, epilogue, talked about how human beings tend to deify destructive forces.
Ooh, I remember that.
Okay.
Like nature and all kinds of things.
Yeah, like this idea. So to me, that's what I really took from this as to why we a lot of times tend to maybe deify really violent like people. Because they're like, oh, you're like God.
I guess so. I mean, you think that's the allure for people like Mussolini or like Hitler and stuff like that?
Like we feel like it's like you're a strong man.
Strong man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just got through saying how much I admired the strong man feeling of Herod's character, but like in every opposite way of what I feel like is a man though. I thought an interesting point or narrative that she kind of presented was the brutality that you see men inflict upon women, especially in war and stuff. He's like, if you really love women, you don't want to see them hurting because they feel so precious. He was like, but that can only happen like when you have a feminine man, meaning like, and not like effeminate, but like, I'm speculating because the way she wrote it was just kind of like, if you envy women or you hate women, it's usually because you embody or maybe you're jealous or you want to be like them. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some sort of hate. Like, there's just some sort of hate there. And so I thought, wow, that's an interesting take. I never really thought about that, but it made me think about pimping, actually. I know it's been a while since we talked about it, guys. If you're new here, pimping comes up. Doesn't matter. We could be talking about Herod in the Bible.
Always there.
We could be talking about whatever, and pimping comes up.
Pimping comes up because pimping is all about human psychology. Yeah. So this is why it's going to come up because, they're a real pimp knows how to, you got to know these hoes' biology.
Obviously, well, from my old head, y'all got that one. Yeah. But anywho, but yeah, I just, I enjoyed the book. I don't think, I can't rate it, you guys. I have like 2 hours left to listen to.
But how long was it?
It was a pretty long audiobook. Let me.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like it was long because I feel like an average book is maybe like 7 to 8, anywhere from like 5 to 8 hours.
It was longer than that.
Yeah, and this was definitely longer than the average. So while you're looking that up, I'm going to go ahead and rate it. Okay. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 golden laurel wreaths.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's a laurel wreath? Wreath. I said reef with 2 F's. My bad. Wreath. Use my digraphs, my consonants, my consonant blends, some phonics.
Well, Moni, a laurel wreath is it's a victor's crown. So that's kind of like what you see on like a lot of ancient Roman and Greek iconography, the little leaves.
Yes. I didn't know it was called laurel.
Yeah, that's where the
that's what he's got
resting,
on his head.
Yeah. Resting on your laurels.
I did not know this. I'm learning at the book club.
This is why we do a literacy podcast, so we can learn. Yes, resting on your laurels means like you're resting on past achievements.
Oh
and
my
stuff like
God.
that. And it's a visual representation of achievement. It's a crown.
Oh my God.
So I'm giving it 5 out of 5 laurel wreaths.
Damn.
But like, how long was it? Because it was super long at normal
Damn, I'm
speed.
still looking for it. I'm extra slow.
Hold up.
I was
to say, I have it on the app, so when I was listening
Where
to
is it?
12
hours and 7 minutes. Okay, so guys.
That was overtime.
Yo,
so you got 10 hours into this, boy.
I did. It was good and I enjoyed it, but I couldn't make the final.
Those are unflinchingly strict rules of the podcast.
Resting on your laurels. Shut the hell up. That is crazy. I just knew, like, context-wise, I'm like, don't just sit and not be doing stuff.
Leaning on your own shit.
I did not know it was based on that. Look at me, I'm learning.
Yeah, our culture is heavily influenced by the Greek and Roman civilization,
it is.
Which to me is always interesting to study because they're still kind of running us because the Roman Empire just evolved into the Catholic Church. So like,
and that's interesting because right now I feel like they're trying to go toward more theocratic government, and that was kind of what was in the book. So Zora was onto something, y'all.
She's a smart lady.
She was.
She was a nice little smart lady. Wow. Okay, and also I think I might play some sad music right now. Editing me, sorry to make you work at the end of it, but we're gonna pipe in some apology music. Sometimes, guys, Kat gets it wrong, and she doesn't realize it until she's editing the episode. Or actually, not until she's listening to the episode for quality and it's already published. So, on our last, I don't know which one of our last, because we did a twofer. That's what messed us up. So we did a twofer a couple weekends ago. I don't know which one it was. Either our
Valentine or Koyan.
The Valentine one.
Okay.
And I had mentioned the Houston. Oh, it must have been our episode with Koyan, actually.
Yeah, shout out to Koyan.
Houston. It wasn't Houston, or it wasn't Michael Fassbender, wasn't the lead for Houston. That's what I said. But it was another good-looking white man. So it was another. I should look up his real name.
Since you're doing the correction.
Right. Where's the main guy? Ewan McGregor.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in some, So that's who was the star, not Michael Fassbender. They're both very attractive white men, so.
Is he kin to the McGregor guy who does the fighting, the MMA fighting?
Yeah.
Is he?
No.
Lies.
I don't know, maybe Colin McGregor?
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure all white people are related, so that's probably true.
I mean, that's basically what I was getting at. Clearly.
And when I was talking about the Irish potato famine.
Oh, yes. The manufactured one.
That was the thing. It wasn't exactly, I said it was a fire, like the English burned the crops. That's not true. I just added that in there. There were interruptions in their regular production because of what the English were doing, but they didn't directly burn the crops, or at least there's no evidence of that.
Okay.
So I kind of put my own flavor on that, but yeah. But also too, still the general.
The thing is like you wouldn't be surprised if they were behind it. That's the other thing.
But just in the.
You want to be fair and accurate if you can.
And for my love of accuracy,
okay.
Kat,
fair enough.
Apologizes. Sorry to these white men.
Okay. All right. I like that. So. We've rated the book.
We have rated the book.
You've issued your corrections.
I issued my corrections.
And now we have to spin the wheel, friend.
We do.
About next week's episode.
Wait. Because I was saying about the Super Bowl. Because this is a direct result of our Super Bowl bet. Because I won. Because you had picked Kansas City. And so that just left the Eagles for me. And I just went into it thinking I was going to lose. And that's how everybody was going into the game. Like that. You know, KC, they're going to make it a three-peat.
I had no idea.
First time in NFL history. Well, the general culture, they were the favorites. And when I tell you, you never know who's going to win until you play the game.
Amen.
Never go into stuff being like, I already know. No, that's not how the Eagles went into it. The Eagles were like, no, we playing to win.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah, amen to that, man.
Yeah.
I love that.
The great game.
And the great game, and then like hate to come back to Kendrick again, guys.
I don't hate to. I love
but
to.
the game,
But I hope
man.
the people who hate it, I hope you really hate it.
I hope you really, really hate it. It makes me, it like honestly
me with
gives
joy.
me, yes.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not easily filled with joy.
Your sadness
honestly.
fills me with joy.
Yeah.
I'm positively filled with joy.
It's so nice.
I feel
and
it
I'm
in the
glad
souls
you
of my
don't get
ancestors.
it.
Yeah. You don't need to.
Yeah. It's not
fine.
for you. And that's okay. And that's what also makes it happen.
I'm sorry. All that to say, I won.
All that to say, you won.
Me and the Philadelphia Eagles won.
Boo.
Go Birds.
Okay, so we got to spin the wheel.
Yes.
And so, like, are you making me read something stupid now because you won?
I don't think it's stupid. I think it's super smart. All right. And spin it.
Ugh, your face.
We are going to be reading Storm. Yeah, Storm's got a new comic book run. And
I like Storm, though.
Yeah.
She's cute.
See, it's not going to be so bad. Yeah, Storm.
Let me see the cover art.
There you go. Come on.
Well, I see it.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, Storm.
Okay, fine.
She's black and she's got afro hair.
She's looking thick.
Yes.
On the cover. Okay,
Yeah.
I like the black ladies.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes.
Fine.
Yay!
Fine.
Yes.
But the fact that you're this excited.
I am, because I always was like, oh, we can read a comic book. And you're like, no.
No.
And the
Now I
last time we
kinda
did a
have to.
comic book, you were like, I didn't read it. You didn't even not
I
finish
didn't try.
You didn't even try. So it was like, yeah, this time. But this is going to be a lot shorter than that last
How am I gonna get
comic
this
book.
picture? Well,
I'm going to give it to you.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
going to give it to you.
All right, make sure you get it to me because I'm like, you're going to make me go buy a comic
No,
book. It's
I'm
never
not going to.
happen.
And actually, fun fact, a lot of comic books available through your local library.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Great.
So, yes.
All right, Libby,
look
here
for
I
that.
come.
Yeah. make sure you get your library cards, people.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Definitely do that. This was fun.
This was
friends.
very fun. It went very quickly.
It did.
As it always does.
It did.
And
It
it was
did.
such a, I think it helps when the material's good. I know people like to hear us complain about stuff, and I think we still managed to complain about some stuff.
We did. Because I will say, even though I didn't get through the book, it took me a minute to get started on it. Like, it was a really hard.
It's not an easy read.
it becomes easier as you go on. And I don't even know, like, if it's a 10-hour audiobook, 12-hour audiobook, like you reading all of the, like, I'm about to say German, Lord, Greek and whatever names. And it felt like a Bible read to me at first. And I was like, oh my God, no. I don't think I'll be able to make it, Lord.
That's how they keep the mystery. It's like, oh, we'll make it boring so it's hard to read. And it works.
But the story was really good. So once I got past me not knowing what the hell who was who, eventually it was like, oh, that's the wife. Okay, yeah, that was his sister. Yeah. So I will say that if you listen to this as an audiobook, you might be better off the performance. Again, Blair Underwood did that. And it's very cinematic. But like reading this, I don't know. I wouldn't have made it. Never would have made it.
It's so funny that I thought about like actually getting a physical copy of the book, and I was like, "Who am I kidding?"
Girl, you was gonna play yourself on that one. That right there, though.
So yeah, I went ahead and I was like, you know what? I'm not even mad to buy this because it was back order like several weeks.
But the cover art was beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah, so I would imagine. Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a good book to have. But like for me, the way that I'm set up, you know, I was not. I'm like, oh God, these are people from the Bible. Like I'm hearing all these names.
And I definitely need to reread it. Just like with the Bible stuff. Like there's stuff that I'm sure got past me because like I said, I can't keep track of all these names that are very unfamiliar to me.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, but I made it through. And I'm proud of myself. I didn't finish the book, but I'm still proud because I mostly got through it.
10 hours is not zero.
Thank you. It's not zero.
And it's more than half.
Yes, thank you.
That is a passing grade. That's a B.
Thank you. And I'm proud of myself on being a B student. I'm like, you know what? I made it.
B's get degrees.
They do. And we out here. And we got, then whatever else I didn't get, my personality fills in the blanks.
There you go.
Here we go. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Do we have any closing thoughts, friend?
Closing thoughts. Well, it's always, your body belongs to you.
Indeed it does.
And if you're feeling overwhelmed with everything that's going on in the news, you know, just turn it off.
Yeah,
turn the TV off. Turn the TV off.
Ooh.
It's and just really try to don't give up, but just take some time out because there's only so much you can do. And the chances are, like once again, with history repeating itself, they're going to cannibalize each other. Caesar got stabbed by the Senate. You know what I mean? Like that was
the takeaway. I mean, it kind of was though.
Yeah.
Like politics they're ruthless.
The Ides of March are coming up.
I forgot what that is.
Beware the Ides of March. That's from a Shakespeare play about the death of Julius Caesar.
Of March.
And before he goes to the Senate, Julius Caesar sees the Witch of Endor.
Damn it. Again?
No.
Oh,
that'd be awesome though. No, but he sees a fortune teller who's like, beware the Ides of March, which is like March 15th.
Gotcha.
And then he went to court and they just went,
and he got dead.
Stab,
and he
stab,
got
stab.
dead.
Yeah, they all just took turns stabbing him.
I should know this. My daughter performed this. Like they did the whole scene where he got stabbed up and stuff in their class.
It was crazy. It would just be like if Trump got stabbed to death by the Senate.
Yeah, it's like
that would be like, whoa.
It's like, well,
well, he was trying to be because that was the whole point. Like Caesar didn't want to step down from rule, and that's what Rome was about, democracy. So they felt like, but you shouldn't. Like Grecian said, he's like, you don't. It's like, what? It's like Brutus is just as popular as Caesar. It's like we should kill Caesar. You remember that from Mean Girls? It was so cute. Gretchen Wieners. Okay, it was when she was turning on Regina.
I'm the worst.
Anyway.
Okay. But I get what you're saying because of context, though. So I'm with you.
Coolsies. Yeah. But yes, and then that was the whole thing with like Mark Anthony being like, nah,
we ain't
Caesar,
doing all that.
They're not heroes for killing Caesar. No. Like, yeah, that's not how we do
we
stuff.
Can't, right, even though that's not right. Two wrongs don't make it right.
Yeah, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. That's all the stuff from Julius Caesar.
And now, what are those called again?
Laurel wreaths. Laurel wreaths.
I'm learning so much, guys. Good thing you're here, friend.
Books on books on books.
That was a lot of fun. You guys.
So those are my final thoughts.
Those are your final thoughts. I think if I had final thoughts to kind of extend what you're saying, I'm going back to playing the game. The game isn't over, you guys. Don't get discouraged because if you throw in the towel before the game's over, you never really know what the ending is going to be. So I would continue. We got to keep playing the game.
Keep playing the game. Play your best game and A lot of times your opponents just, they just get the yips and mess up. And especially when they didn't have team cohesion. That's what was going on. I don't know who was mad at who, but that was a coworker breakdown.
Damn. So yeah, maybe that's the real message. Team cohesion, guys.
Yeah, we got to stay as a team
us,
because I can tell the MAGA people, they don't see it for Elon.
Right, that's one thing we can agree on.
Mm-hmm. They don't see it for that dude.
It's not looking good.
Because guess what? You're a foreigner.
Yeah, right. Like, how are you taking over? Listen, we can't. We said we were wrapping this up. We're about to wrap it up. We be lying.
It's a fake ass book club.
It's a fake ass book club.
Faking stuff all the time.
Talk is real though. Talk is real, guys. We're gonna get on out of here. We know you have stuff to do. Go on, enjoy your lives. Do stuff that you love. Have fun.
Hope
laugh.
you love liking us.
Also, something I want to share real quick before we leave, you guys. Something that I love. I actually made a Spotify playlist, Moni's Fab Faves. Maybe it's about 20 songs of artists that I like, who I feel like deserve all the shine in the world. It's mostly R&B stuff because I'm an R&B girl. So definitely check that out. I'm gonna put it up on our social media so you guys can check it out and let me know what you think.
And maybe I'll make a playlist too.
You
It'll
should.
be so ratchet. Like you'll have the classy one that you can play. It's safe at work, and then I'll have the ones you need earbuds.
Yeah, when you're in your fifis and you're just like
you're
vibing.
in the car.
That's the kind of music
Without
I
your
like
kids.
to listen to. Without but then when you need to turn up, we need it all. So yes, I'd be interested to see your playlist.
It's sexy.
It'd be great. Oh my God. All right, we're out of here. I'm done. Bye.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.